Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to go and do our daily technical analysis, updated commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it together. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all of these areas, subjects, topics, looking for investment opportunities, and sharing that with everyone in the community. We do have a midweek update that will be released tomorrow, just as a reminder, and you might see that late tonight, early tomorrow morning. And we have a discount coupon code that's still active. Discount is that coupon code. And you can see in the description link below how much of a discount that is. All right, guys, let's dive in, take a look. Starting with the DXY, we've got a rising wedge. That does still look like we could potentially break to the downside. That's rising wedges generally break to the downside. So we're squeezing up into this rising wedge. We'll see if it breaks out to the downside. It could be a potential top in the dollar. Maybe, maybe not. And we'll see what transpires from this. Yields are falling, and that's generally what occurs when the dollar drops, but this isn't necessarily a bearish setup here. It still looks bullish, like it wants to go up, which then puts me kind of at confusion because you don't have full alignment here with the dollar dropping with the 2-year yield. But the 2-year yield looks strong. We've got buying pressure there, popped up, and we're at support. The 10-year yield is continuing to move higher. And we have broken out of this pattern here to the upside. And then the 30-year yield continuing to work its way on up and has broken out of its pattern. So across the board of all these different durations of yields look like they want to go higher. And that makes me think that the DXY could follow yields. But the DXY is a relative strength indicator. So it is the relative monetary strength backing the dollar versus the relative strength backing those other currencies of their monetary. So TYX, TNX ratio, we are continuing to be inside this pattern, but this is an inverted potential inverted flag pattern where we could go lower, inverting the curve further from an already inverted state. So we've been inverted this entire time. Gold bottomed here in September, October of 2022, and I think it is pricing in an eventual return of the curve coming back up, which means that perhaps rates are going to come back down at some point. At least that's what it's done in history. So that's what we're seeing there with this particular ratio. TLT bond prices still going down as the long end of the curve was up a little bit, but basically flat, and the momentum is still to the downside for bond prices. The 2 and the 10, the curve did uninvert a little bit today, and it does look like it's trying to put in a bottom. Whenever you get this big bullish kind of candlestick there and you got multiple candlesticks coming back down within it, that generally means that you're trying to put in a bottom. Doesn't mean it will be successful. The momentum is still to the downside, though. Gold up $10 an ounce. We are still squeezing in this pattern there. There's the pattern that we're squeezing in. To me, this looks bullish. It's bullish because you have a bullish engulfing here. You've got the small kind of falling volume, not really volume, but selling pressure coming back down. We've broken out of that pattern to the upside. Now we're trying to break through the next resistance level. So that looks bullish. Silver trying to eventually, I think, break out of this as well. A little bit of a downtrend squeeze going on. And today we were up a little bit. Shorter, very short term, it's a little bit bearish, but we've got a bullish formation here that is squeezing on a falling wedge. Again, that's different time frames. And I think people get confused on that. Short term, we are still a little bit bearish. You take the longer term here, that's a bullish formation. And then you take even a longer term view, and this is all bullish because we've broken out to the upside of this bigger pattern. Platinum down 2.77%, still inside the pattern, and we're getting a little bit of a pullback here. Palladium also just tracking sideways. It was up 0.7, but it looks like it's putting in some sort of pattern there. We've broken the falling wedge to the upside, so I would say it is still bullish, looking for a move higher. GDX up quite a bit, 2.74%. GDXJ up 3.4 and SILJ up 4.25. Kind of a difficult read here. We had a nice little surge off this bottom and then a sideways channel kind of move here. And we're kind of still within that channel. So I would say it's bullish with that nice trading action today, and hopefully we can get follow through and create a new higher high. When we're coming down in these pullbacks, we're looking for a trend change. And a trend change is basically looking for a higher low and a higher high. This could be a low here. We could have a higher low here, kind of break through that downtrend, so to speak. I'm just drawing it very rough, and then maybe we can get a new higher high and close out above that. That would be a bottom. And that's what we're kind of looking for to see if we do bottom here. XEU to gold ratio, we had very big outperformance of the gold and silver mining companies in relationship to gold today. And we're bouncing off this big long-term support level, which is this guy down there. That's the support level. We're still above the support level going across here too. And we're kind of right at that cross section there where we're getting a lot of support. We're at a very low level where gold and silver mining companies are incredibly undervalued in relationship to gold. We peaked in 1996, and we could have maybe bottomed here in 2015 and hit this bottom multiple times. This is a very good opportunity for those that are patient and looking for opportunities in gold and silver mining companies, because gold is going up, and we are seeing bottoming patterns in gold and silver mining companies. Crude oil down slightly, down about 1.3%. It is a bloody nose. A bloody nose is when you get these big green candlesticks and you just get a small profit-taking day. There's a possibility that we can flag this out, do a flag pattern going sideways before going higher. But right now, it's still bullish. Everything looks okay. We've broken out of the pattern here. The pattern that I'm referring to is this squeeze here, that one going on, and that we've broken out of it. And everything looks bullish still. TTF gas down 1.91%, and we're still in the upward channel. Still looks okay. No reversal candlestick, and we're doing all right. We've got natural gas in America up 1.22, sitting on top of this big resistance support area, that blue trend line that we are trying to break. And that's where we're at. We've got a little bit of resistance coming through here, and we're trying to break out of it. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, we're seeing some positive indications here where money is flowing into XOP despite crude oil being down. And we are right at the bottom of this trend line. It's a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder that's developing that we could potentially break out and launch from. We're right on top of that neckline. We've got OIH up 0.8%. It's been following whatever XOP has been doing, and hopefully we can turn this thing around and get moving to the upside. We've broken this channel to the downside, and we've been consolidating sideways. But now, since crude oil has broken to the upside, I do think this has a possibility of going on higher with crude oil. Newcastle coal futures up 0.7%. We've had some selling pressure here, and it looks like it's trying to put in a bottom. We're seeing a little wicks at the bottom, which indicates that there is some buying pressure in this. We do have a long-term support that's real close to where we're at. So we could be getting some support from this guy right where we're at. And we'll see if we can turn and work our way on up. Natural gas has been strong, and I do think coal generally follows nat gas if there's a squeeze in electricity. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust down 0.9%. There we are. But we're still within this flat flag pattern, and we've just been consolidating. It's a bullish setup. A bullish setup because we have a bullish engulfing here, and then you get these small red candlesticks like this. Those generally resolve upward. It looks set up to go higher. Uranium futures pricing is still squeezing. And again, we got this big buying pressure. It's called an impulse move higher. Generally, you get these big impulse moves. And then what happens is you get these flag patterns. I call it a stair-step pattern, where you get the impulse move, and then you flag out, impulse move, flag out, impulse move, flag out, impulse move, flag out. And that is a sequence that I see and find that's pretty prominent in big uptrends. So this is doing that. And then we got another one here, big impulse move, small pullback. And I do think we'll eventually work our way on out of here to the upside. URA up 0.337% right on support. Uranium, URNM right at support going across that way. And URNJ, kind of at this support region through here where there's buyers and sellers that are buying back, buying some shares. So that looks okay. Copper up 0.5%, looking like we're trying to break through this pattern. We've got the 1, 2, 3 hump consolidation. We're trying to break on out, and we could get a break out of this consolidation. It looks good. Copper ETF, a little bit of buying pressure, 0.5% today, about as much as copper itself. You could say this could be still a bearish pattern, but there's bulls and bears that are dueling it out here. We do have a bearish pattern from that inverted flag that I had drawn there, but we do also have a bullish engulfing here, which is trying to fight its way on up. So the bulls and the bears are fighting here. Iron ore up a little bit. We are in a gigantic squeeze, and I'm talking about this squeeze going on here. I do think it will resolve upward with time. And this could be a Jesse Livermore accumulation cylinder on top of it. You can also say that this pattern here, which is the fractal, is similar to the fractal in copper, the way that this thing moves. And what I'm talking about is this pattern here. That pattern there, see that? That is a similar fractal, my goodness, let me shrink it up, to that guy there if you see it. And I know if you guys aren't really looking, but see how that fractal, these moves, and then they break out, and then they jump higher. So iron ore's got that. It's just delayed behind copper a little bit, in my opinion. Aluminum it also has that same fractal if you were to look at this. My goodness, where did it go? Here it is. And that fractal is that guy there, kind of, if you guys can see it. If I can draw it in there properly, but it's a very similar fractal. They're not all the same, but they're very similar. The overall motions that these guys are moving in. And I do think this will eventually work and break its way on up. We've got a higher, so we have bigger impulse moves than the pullbacks. The impulse started here and it only pulled back to here. Impulse started here and it only pulled back to here so far. So we are edging our way higher, higher and higher as we go. So I do think this will break to the upside eventually. Nickel up 2%. That's good that we're seeing some buying pressure here to bring us back on up. We had a nice little bullish engulfing there. So nickel does look good, and it looks like it's trying to put in, we've got a double bottom and then a double bottom within the double bottom. Yeah, a lot of booty bottoms here. Mu up 0.23%. We are getting on the weekly here, a nice big bullish engulfing on the weekly there. And I do think we'll work our way on up. That looks good. And we're starting to see fertilizers and stuff like that respond. They look pretty good. Emerging markets up 1.13. We did have a weaker dollar today, and these are going to respond to lowering of interest rates and dollar if that continues. So right on support. KRE up 3.4%, looking pretty snazzy here. This is a big move off this. And this is a bullish engulfing that we got yesterday. Higher, higher, higher is what I see there. TAN up a teeny bit. It's still trying to figure out probably where rates are going to go. Lithium up 1.5%, right underneath resistance of this downtrend line. We got to break through that and get out of there. REMX also higher. We are up 1.4%. We had a bullish engulfing yesterday, and there was our move higher today. We'll see if that continues. Baltic Dry Index up 4.29%. This is looking pretty good on the Baltic down here for a potential move higher. And remember, when coal moves up and iron ore moves up and some of these and fertilizers move up, Baltic Dry Index will probably go with it to the upside. XHB, nice big bullish engulfing here on the weekly candlestick. Does look like it wants to go higher. There's the bullish yesterday, bullish engulfing. So we popped on up. We've broken through the downtrend there, and we'll see if we get back up into that region up there. And we'll have to figure out what we do from there because we have a rising wedge coming up here, and we could do a retest. Russell 2000 up 1.13, right at a little bit of resistance coming through there. We've got the S&P 500 up slightly, still some downside momentum though. Not a ton of follow through today. And NASDAQ down 0.23%. Not a confidence inspiring move today. Still looks a little bit heavy here with some selling pressure. SMCI down slightly. It's still on top of that downtrend line. We've got NVIDIA. NVIDIA's down 1.1%. That doesn't look all that great. We're still underneath resistance. Some resistance as we come through here. Bitcoin up 2.5%. That looks good to try to work its way on up. That looks bullish. Ethereum up 2.96, about 3%, underneath resistance still, that trend line. And then MicroStrategy's up 4.19. Not a ton of follow through here though. The buyers didn't. This isn't convincing. It looks like sellers were equaling the buyers here just on a gap up in the morning. So we'll see how that plays out. And then the VIX down 2.5% with the S&P up just a little bit. But that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you like. Discount is the coupon code if you'd like to join. And we have a Platinum midweek update being released here shortly for tomorrow. All right, guys. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.